timer is going. Good. All right. So this is fair division. Not like division like you're thinking, like with, a division sign. This is how would you cut something in half. And how would you cut something in half that is truly fair? Now let's give a nice thing. Let's say you have the yummiest cookie in the world. There's only one of them. And here comes your best friend. And your best friend's like, oh, you have the best cookie in the world. I know, whatever cookie you feel is the best in the world. I don't care what kind, but just envision the most amazing cookie that you know. This is like your best friend. I mean, I'm not talking about like somebody you met last week. I'm talking about like this person knows you better than your parents and your siblings combined. You know that best friend? So let's take this unbelievable cookie, and we're just, for fun, we're going to have this heart-shaped cookie, okay, just because it's a fun shape to draw. Now, so between you and your friend and this one cookie, you want to be as fair as possible about cutting this cookie into 2 equal parts. How can you guarantee this cookie is going to be equal for both of you? What do you think? Okay, so put the blade in the top of it. Okay, so if this was me and my sister, put the blade in the top. There we go. I just cut it. No. But somebody's going to get gypped on this yummy cookie. Okay, so move the line a little bit. Oh, there we go. How about that? There's no equation. Do vertical? Okay. All right, I can do a vertical line. Let's undo that. Let's do a vertical line. There we go. That should be perfect. Oh, in the middle? Okay. I'm going to get in the middle as best as I can. Okay. There we go. We're good. No, but this cookie you both want. Now, we're not talking about like a small little cookie. We're talking this bad boy is a good-sized cookie where you're like, dude, and it's got the icing. Let's say you love icing on cookies, because I love icing on cookies. Let's say it's like just like almost looks like a piece of cake. That's a cookie. Yeah, I mean, like this is the kind of cookie that if you were in your car and there was a cookie, and in between you and the car and the cookie was your own mother, and you are having a dilemma saying, I probably should run my own mother over with my car so I can get that cookie. That's how good this cookie is. It's like, I wouldn't run my mom over. Okay, so how do you think between these two people, this would be the most ideal cut in half cookie? What do you think? Okay, I agree. So you and your friend, and this is the actual size of the cookie in comparison to your friend. So you're like, life is good. So how are you going to guarantee that it is the most fair cut cookie? And I hear what you're saying. You're saying put it right in the middle and cut it right in half. I agree. I really think that would be the best thing to do. But how will you guarantee that the person who is cutting the cookie is going to make the most exact cut possible between the two of you? Get a computer? Okay. So if you and I have this cookie, and it's my first favorite, your first favorite, and I know you're not my best friend, but let's just pretend. How would you guarantee? I'm going to cut the cookie. Would you like, once I cut the cookie, pick the first piece? Or would you like me to pick the piece that I cut? You want me to choose? So No, this is a cookie. This is the cookie going. This, oh my gosh, your life just changed because you had this cookie like 3 weeks ago. You have to have it again. So, okay. So you want me to cut and pick first. Okay, I cut and I pick. That's the one I pick.
Okay.
You feeling gypped on this? A little bit? So if I cut, my friend gets to pick. Make sense? So think about that. So the person who is involved in the cutting does not get to choose. Right? Now, y'all been to birthdays at some point, right? And I'll tell you what, these people who make cakes, let's pretend this is our cake. So we've all seen this. We've all been to some party where it's like, you have this unbelievable, awesome frosting something right here. They're kind of eyeballing that cake going, oh yeah, I want that piece that has that in it, right? And so here comes Grandma to cut the cake. She's cutting the cake. Well, one of those pieces is much better, especially to a little kid, because a little kid doesn't even have to like icing. They just know there's more of it there, therefore I want it. So in my opinion, this might be the best piece of cake to have. The kid who gets gypped is this kid. Oh, here you go. No, stop crying. We'll give you a little bit more ice cream. I don't like ice cream. It makes me fart. Right? Well, now with all these dietary restrictions, it's like you have a birthday party and here's little Billy Bob Joe. He can't have sugar. He can't have milk. And nobody can have any nuts at the party. Well, I know. I kid you not. I remember my kids were having a party and parents are dropping off, and there's like this disclaimer of everything their child can't eat. It's like, your kid's 6. Oh, yeah. So we're going to talk about fair division. Fair division. Now let's change gears a little bit, but we're going to have a little goofy fun. Now let's pretend these particular characters are real people. Okay? But I'm going to go to a cartoon. I'm sure you know this cartoon. Scooby-Doo? You been in with me? Everyone's seen it at least once? You like Scooby? So you and I are in on this? All right, so let's pretend Scooby counts as an adult. I realize Scooby is a dog, but let's just pretend Scooby is an adult. I know he talks. So you got Scooby, you got Shaggy, you got Velma. Who else? Daphne? And Fred? All right, so now, Scooby, Shaggy, Velma, Daphne, and Freddy are going to inherit some of the things from the show of Scooby-Doo. Unfortunately, the person who is the creator of Scooby-Doo has passed away. And the creator of Scooby-Doo has said, I didn't have any children. I want my estate divided amongst these 5 people. Scooby being a person too. Still with me? Part of this estate is the Haunted Mansion. You still with me? Okay? You also have the mystery machine, the van, right? Okay? So those are the only two things that are left as part of this estate, but there's also $1 million left that gets to be divided. $1 million gets to be divided. Okay? So, all 5 of these individuals are brought in, and we're so very sorry that Mr. Hanna-Barbera, creator of Scooby-Doo, has passed away. But the creator wanted you to have equal shares of the estate. Now, I just need to let you know that there's $1 million that we're going to divide up, and everyone's like, okay, good. There's also the Haunted Mansion, and there's the Mystery Machine. Now, I'm pretty sure that Freddy is the one who's going to want the Mystery Machine, right? So, what's going to happen is all 5 of our individuals in this story are going to be taken to separate rooms, and the attorney for the estate will have a conversation with each person. And that attorney is going to ask, he's going to go to Scooby and say, hey, Scooby. He's like, what? Are you okay? It's like, Scooby, how much do you think that haunted mansion would be worth to you? And Scooby says the mansion is $100,000. Would be willing to pay $100,000 for the mansion. Agree? That's what Scooby said. Shaggy gets to have the same conversation. Shaggy has no idea that Scooby feels that the mansion's worth $100,000. Shaggy says, you know, I really like it as well, and I think it should be worth $200,000. That's what Shaggy puts. They go to Velma. Velma says it is worth $300,000. Daphne's like, I have my own house. I think it's worth $1,000. Freddy also feels $100,000 would be a good amount for the haunted mansion. Being the floors creak, and it has ghosts. Okay? So the same conversation's taking place with all 5. And they're going to say, hey, the mystery machine, how much do you think the mystery machine is worth? So Scooby says $2,000. Shaggy says $4,000. Velma says it's worth $100. Daphne says it's worth $500. And Freddy decides to say, you know, $6,000 is what the mystery machine is worth to him. Okay, so now what the attorney does is basically the attorney is going to say, okay, well, Velma is going to get the haunted mansion. Freddy is going to get the mystery machine. But here's the catch. It'd be really unfair if Velma got this $300,000 mansion just because they put a higher value with it, and then they divide the $1 million to give everyone $200,000 each. Agree? It'd be really unfair that Velma gets the mansion and $200,000. Right? So now we have to kind of start figuring out, okay, what is this estate really worth? Well, we know that we have this $1 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, this is where y'all need to participate with the calculators. Will somebody add up Scooby, somebody add up Shaggy, somebody add up Velma, somebody add up Daphne, somebody add up Freddy. So we'll do this. Ready? Scooby, you with me? Shaggy? Velma? Daphne? Freddy. Add up those values that are right there. Add them straight across. Don't tell me what you have yet. Just add up what you get. So for Scooby, it'd be 100,000, 2,000, a million, and there's going to be a number. It's going to be in the millions. Agree? Okay. Now, being we have 5 people who are inheriting this estate, we have 5 people inheriting this estate, you're going to take your number value and divide by 5. What's Scooby? 220, 400? Agree? What about Shaggy? Okay. Velma? 300,000 plus 100 plus 1 million. Okay, and then divide that by 5.
26. Or sorry, 260,000.
Like that?
Yeah, sorry.
Cool. Daphne? 200,300. All right, well, somebody add up 100,000, 6,000, and 1 million. $221,000 what? 200. Okay. Now, my friends, if I add up all these 5 of these numbers right now, that's more than $1 million. Agree? Okay. Now, what we have to do is I will tell you right now that Scooby is getting $220,400 cash. Shaggy is getting $240,800 cash. Daphne gets $200,300 cash. Here is where the catch comes. Velma gets $260,020. So do that on a calculator. Go 26020 or 260020 minus 300,000. So it should be a negative number. Negative 39,980. Okay. Fred's going to get 221,200 minus 6,000. Okay. So Fred walks out of the whole deal with $215,200 in his pocket and the keys to the mystery machine. Seem okay? Daphne walks out with $200,300 cash. Velma gets the mansion, but unfortunately, Velma has to pay into the estate $39,980 in order to get the mansion, and paid her own money. Didn't get any of that $260,000. Shaggy walks out with $240,800 cash money. Scooby walks out with $220,400. Now, here's the little trick. Why did some people get different amounts of money? What would have happened to incur different amounts of money? Well, it came down to the bids. Okay? So Scooby basically felt that their fair share, that the estate would have been $220,400. So Scooby gets that. Scooby missed out on some extra money because the big ticket item up here, it's not really the mystery machine. I mean, that's $1,000. It's what they bid here. This was the big ticket item. That was a big ticket item. In fact, Daphne winds up with the least amount of cash money because Daphne so underbid what the value of the mansion was worth. So Daphne actually shot herself in the foot to get this. Now, my friends, this is truly how estate division takes place. Now, I don't want to sadden anybody, and I'm not trying to make light of it, but the great equalizer of life is everybody will pass away at some point. I'm sorry, it's the reality of life. And I'm not trying to sadden you, I'm not trying to make light. And unfortunately, I've had way too many relatives, aunts and uncles, cousins, grandparents pass away. I've also had very close friends of mine pass away. But it's part of life. Am I saddened by it? Sure. Do I miss the people who are part of my life who passed away? Yes. I think of my friends and my family members who passed away often.
It sounds like you got a few minutes before I say, where's my money?
And where's my money? So, things that make me think about my grandmother. I have picked up a hobby and been doing it for about the past 20 years. I love to grow fresh vegetables every summer. I have a huge garden. Okay? My wife and I, in the fall, jar salsa, spaghetti sauce, and pickles. We also freeze large amounts of green beans. So throughout the rest of the year, when our harvest is no longer in place, we have fresh jarred spaghetti sauce that we made, and it's good. We have fresh jarred salsa that we made, and it's good. It's far superior to any salsa or spaghetti sauce that you would ever buy at a grocery store. Okay? Why is that? Because my garden vegetables didn't go sit in a box and get shipped someplace. Tomatoes absorb what the container that they're in. I don't know if you ever cut into a tomato you got from the grocery store, there's not that much flavor. If you had one of my tomatoes, you'd be like, dude, I had no idea. Unless you've ever had fresh picked off the vine from your own garden tomatoes and cucumbers and anything like that, the taste of vegetables is very bland that comes from the store. How do they make spaghetti sauces taste so good that you buy from the store? They increase the salts and the seasonings, so you're tasting more of the salts and the seasonings than you are the actual vegetable of tomato or the fruit of tomato. Okay, but I always think of my grandmother because my grandmother had a beautiful garden. In fact, my grandmother, they had about 1.5 acres of land in New Jersey. She had this enormous garden that she grew corn and tomatoes and squash and cucumbers and green beans and just everything. But then along the back tree line, that was a forest, they had in front huge vines of strawberries and huge blackberry bushes. And that was the biggest treat in the world. Now, my grandmother had so many strawberries that she would grow that she could do nothing more with them. I mean, she jarred her own jellies and jams from the strawberries, and they were fantastic. But she had a deal with the dairy farmer up the road. The dairy farmer would come, and he would pick a nice share of fresh strawberries for his family and would go almost every day and do it. But he still left so many more strawberries that my grandmother had no idea what to do with it. But in exchange, he would bring each day fresh milk that was just milked from the cow. And I'm not talking skim milk. I'm not talking 1 or 2%. I'm talking this was whole fat milk. It was not homogenized, and it had to be drank within 2 days. I don't know if you've ever had fresh milk out of a cow. You could put that in the fridge for a little bit, it gets ice cold, pour yourself a glass, and you drink it, and you're like, you'd have no idea milk tastes that good. But that's what allows me to think of my grandmother often. My grandfather loved owls. I have so many owls in my trees. And anytime in the middle of the night, if I'm outside and I hear the owl hooting, it makes me think of my grandpa. I mean, he loved owls. That was always his thing. And so now I get these owls. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. It makes me think. So my thing is, anytime somebody expires in your life, you will continue to think about them. Okay? And I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm just saying that it's just part of life. But this estate division does indeed take place. Now, I will tell you, my grandmother died 10 years ago. My grandfather, her husband, this is from my mom's side. My dad's side, they died a long, long time ago. But from my mom's side, my grandpa died 20 years ago. Unfortunately, this kind of thing took a real negative turn with my mom's side of the family. I had seen my grandmother in the July 4th for about 2 weeks. She'd come out, stayed with us. She used to come out July 4th and stay with us. And we would take her to the zoo. She loved the zoo. She loved just being outside. She loved the fact that she was there with her great-granddaughters. And my grandmother, in July, she passed away in October 10 years ago. But the July before, she was here in Colorado staying with us in July. My grandmother said, I just want you to know, when I pass away, there's about $600,000, and this is how I'd like the money divided up. She was going to give $100,000 would go to my mom, my mom's brother, and my mom's other brother. Okay, that leaves $300,000. The other money was going to be divided amongst her grandchildren, in which she had 6 of them. And she wanted to make sure that it was about $25,000 that went to each. So I should have gotten $25,000. Her great-grandchildren, she wanted to make sure at least 2 years of college was paid for. So she was looking at doing $50,000 to each of her great-grandchildren, which was my 2 daughters and my cousin Jeremy's daughter. Okay, that was basically it. So this is what she told me, and I have no reason to not believe her. But I told her, I said, number one thing that I find that money would never buy is the time that you're here with me. And my uncle, who insisted that my grandmother go move in with him and his wife out in California, that he was a big contract type of person, told my grandma, hey, I just want to let you know, we just want to make sure things are taking place. Just sign off on this is your final will and testament. And my grandma's like, this is the will that I had provided? Yes, this is the same will. So my grandmother trusted her son. He got the entire $600,000. My uncle, who is a multimillionaire 10 times over, sold out his entire family for $600,000. And he wanted to try and, there wasn't any money. It's like, no, this is what I was told to me. No. Grandma decided to leave me everything. But this is the will she had. Yeah, but she changed it. Here's the addendum. He sold out his entire family for $600,000. I could. It would cost me more to challenge it than I'd get. That's the unfortunate thing. He made a choice. He made a choice real easy. Hey, we can all be a part of this big happy family and live the rest of our lives. And yes, we all miss my grandma, his mom, or he got $600,000 and my mom and my mom's other brother have written him off, want nothing to do with him. Anything gets sent to their house from him, it gets returned to sender. He'll call me, hey Chris, how you doing? You sold out. You sold out your family. Now, would that money have changed my life? No. Did that money really change his life? I'd say so. The rest of his family wrote him off. He took away our money, or my grandma's money. You know, when you pass away, you choose what you want to do with your estate. There are some shady characters out there, everywhere. They really are. And I'll tell you what, I can't imagine what my uncle thought would happen by him changing the will and have my grandma sign off on it. But he sold out his entire family for $600,000. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, she didn't realize, you know, she was told by my uncle, this is the will that you have provided. I just need your signatures here, here, and here. Well, I understand. But the unfortunate thing is she trusted her son that was the original will. I mean, it's just a ridiculous, sad thing. Does money do silly things to people? Yeah. But again, if you don't get anything from my class, the one thing that I want you to walk out with knowing is the time you spend with friends and family, those who you truly care about, you can't put a monetary value on it. Money doesn't bring somebody back. And I tell you, it's just greed in his book is what took over for him. And I find it so very sad that he chose to do that. So, do you understand how this works? We're going to have a little silly fun. You get to design your thing. So I need for you to pick a cartoon that you would know, all would agree upon. I will tell you the cartoon that your other cohort agreed upon was SpongeBob.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so y'all have to help me. I know there's SpongeBob. Hey, Patrick, hang it. Patrick.
Wait, who's dying? Mr. Krabs?
No, the person who wrote the show.
Oh. I think I was killing off the character.
Who are some other characters? I don't know. Crabs? Squid? Sandy? And Plankton should be enough. That should be enough. Plankton. All right. So, my friends, is there something in the show that would be you would know? Krusty Krab. So the Krusty Krab. Is there something else in the show you would know? The what? The invisible boat mobile. Okay? And there is $2 million in this estate. So what I want you to do, my friends, is you're going to kind of think about how these people are going to bid on the, what was CC? What does it stand for? Krusty Krab. And the invisible boatmobile. Yep. So that's what you're going to do. You're just going to, and you create your own. You make it yours. If it doesn't match the person next to you, it's yours. But have fun with it. See if you can decipher it. And we'll talk about it next time. All right, I'm going to stop recording if that's okay with y'all.